Thanks for staying with us. You're watching WION The World as one. I'm Adhya Janeja and this is Speed News. Let's start with all the top stories making headlines today. The Trump administration says it feels good about the prospects of a deal with Iran. Iran has also shown willingness to continue diplomatic engagement after meeting a Pakistani delegation in Tehran. According to the White House, discussions for a second round of talks are already underway and talks could take place in Pakistan. It also denied reports that the US has requested a ceasefire. The Pentagon is rapidly expanding its military footprint in West Asia as the United States moves to corner Tehran both militarily and economically. According to reports, over 10,000 additional personnel are currently en route to the region. The massive reinforcement includes the USS George H.W. Bush carrier strike group with 6,000 sailors, alongside an amphibious-ready group carrying roughly 4,200 Marines. This escalation comes as a fragile two-week ceasefire is set to expire next Wednesday. Pakistan's Army Chief Asim Munir met Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Tehran. This in a bid to help prevent renewed conflict between US and Iran. Well, the visit comes after Trump's indication that talks could resume this week. Military advisor to Iran's Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei and former IRGC commander Hossein Rezai warned that Iran would sink American ships in the Strait of Hormuz if US decides to police the key shipping route. US military said it blocked 10 vessels from leaving Iran during the first 48 hours of naval blockade, claiming none passed through. However, maritime tracking data appeared to contradict that assertion. The US Senate rejected a bill aimed at blocking further military actions on Iran in a 47-52 vote allowing continued action without congressional authorization. The vote marks the fourth time this year lawmakers have effectively allowed the US-Israeli war of aggression against Iran to continue without formal approval. Some senators acknowledged the need for a clear strategy, noting that under US law, Congress must authorize military action within 60 days, a deadline approaching later this month. While at the same time, lawmakers warned that prolonging the conflict could lead to additional costs and instability, with discussions already turning to potential funding requests worth hundreds of billions of dollars.
Air forces extended our reach with refueling tankers while executing a hot.
According to a Wall Street Journal report, senior US defense officials have held talks about producing weapons and other military supplies with top executives of companies including General Motors and Ford Motors. The Wall Street Journal cited people familiar with the discussions in the report. The journal said the preliminary and wide-ranging talks, which started before the war in Iran, comes as the Trump administration wants automakers and other American manufacturers to play a larger role in weapons production. Three different teams of paramedics have been stuck in southern Lebanon as Israel pressed ahead with its aerial and ground war in the country. Lebanon's health ministry said the attacks killed 3 paramedics and left a 4th medic missing. 6 others were wounded. According to the ministry, a team from the Islamic Health Association was attacked as it tried to rescue people from the site of an Israeli attack in the town of Mefadun in the Nabaite region. In southern Australia, firefighters battled an out-of-control fire at Viva Energy Group's Geelong refinery, one of the country's only two refineries. The blaze was reported at around 11 p.m. local time on Wednesday. Fire Rescue Victoria said in a statement that all staff were accounted for. The refinery can process up to 120,000 barrels of oil per day. It employs over 1,100 people, supplying over 50% of Victoria's and 10% of Australia's fuel. Swedish Chief of Defence warned that Russia may seize Ireland to test NATO. Michael Claesson, the Swedish Chief of Defence, said the Kremlin could launch a small attack at sea tomorrow if it wished to, as a tactic to try to expose the divisions in the alliance as President Donald Trump threatens to abandon his European partners. Until now, most publicly discussed scenarios for a Russian assault on NATO territory have concentrated on a land grab close to the eastern flank. The death toll from Russian strike on Ukraine rose to 3 after Russia plumbed its neighbor in overnight attacks. Kiev's mayor said earlier that 2 people, including a 12-year-old boy, were killed in strikes on the capital Kiev. In Russia, a Ukrainian attack killed 2 children in Russia's southern Krasnodar Krai region. Australia will lift defence spending to 3% of GDP by 2033 as conflicts flare worldwide. The new commitment, which follows US pressure on Canberra to boost military spending, raises the ratio of expenditure to GDP from a previous target of 2.3%. Eleven people died when the bus they were travelling in plunged into a ravine in southern Ecuador. At least 20 others were injured, with several reported in critical condition. The death toll may rise as recovery operations continue. Families have been frantically searching for news of relatives who were aboard a boat carrying over 280 Rohingya refugees and Bangladeshis that capsized earlier this month. UNHCR, which is the UN Refugee Agency, and the International Organization for Migration, IOM, said in a joint statement on Tuesday that the boat departed from Teknaf in the southern Bangladesh district of Cox's Bazar, carrying a large number of passengers to Malaysia. It reportedly sank on 9th. The agency said overcrowding, strong winds and rough seas caused the vessel to lose control and sink. In Puerto Rico, hundreds of demonstrators took to the streets of San Juan to fight a controversial new measure that threatens public access to the island's shorelines. Protesters denounced a proposed bill they claim will give the government unprecedented power to block public access to coastal areas.
climático, que es bien evidente.
O a las que determinen las horas con los mayores temporales.
Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin hoisted black flag in protest against Centre's Delimitation Bill. The bill, which will be tabled in the special session, paves way for redrawing Lok Sabha and Assembly seats frozen since the mid-1970s. Southern states fear losing out to northern states in representation and have vowed to oppose the bill. Prince Harry made a surprise stop in Canberra to pay his respects to the nation's fallen heroes and connect with those who served. Prince Harry attended a private commemoration at the Australian War Memorial, laying a wreath to honour service members. The Duke spent time speaking with local veterans, reaffirming his long-standing commitment to the global military community and the Invictus Games spirit. Crowds gathered outside the iconic monument as the Duke took a moment of reflection at the Roll of Honour. The race to save Vietnam's last caged bears is heating up. Over 30 public figures have signed an open letter to the new Prime Minister demanding an immediate end to the country's devastating biofarming industry. Approximately 150 bears remain trapped in cramped backyard cages across the country. The cruelty is that these animals are the last victims of a decades-old practice where bile is extracted for use in traditional medicine, a process often described as torture. A massive new art gallery is set to open in Los Angeles. Well, this is one of the biggest art projects in the city's history, changing the look of Los Angeles for years to come. Built at a cost of $724 million, it was designed by a famous Swiss architect and stretches across the top of Wilshire Boulevard. Snap Inc. will lay off about 1,000 employees, around 16% of its workforce. The move also includes closing over 300 open roles across the company. Snap says AI is now generating more than 65% of new codes, helping reduce team sizes. The company is shifting to leaner operations with greater reliance on AI and focused teams. The layoffs come after pressure from investor capital management to cut costs and improve performance. The investor has also urged Snap to review its loss-making AR glasses business. Well, Snap has invested over $3.5 billion in its specs unit, with the launch expected this year. The European Commission may order Meta platforms to restore rival AI assistants on WhatsApp. Well, the move follows Meta's decision to impose a fee on third-party AI access. EU regulators say the policy could block competition and violate antitrust rules. The Commission has warned that Meta's actions may exclude rival AI services from the platform. Interim measures will remain in place until the investigation is complete. The EU wants Meta to restore access under the same terms as before October 2025. Meta argues the move could force it to offer paid services for free to big tech firms. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has asked social media companies to take responsibility for child online safety. The call comes ahead of a meeting with Meta platforms like Snap Inc., Google, TikTok and X. The UK government says children are being exposed to online harm without clear accountability. Officials warn social media is affecting sleep, family life and school performance. Starmer says the government is ready to take strong actions if needed. The UK is considering a ban on social media for users under the age of 16. Other options include app time limits, digital curfews and restrictions on addictive features. Asian markets moved higher in early Thursday trading, lifted by growing optimism over a potential peace deal involving Iran as the US increases pressure on Tehran, while investor sentiment was further supported by strong corporate earnings in the United States, where major banks helped push key indexes to record highs. Regional benchmarks edged up, with Japan's benchmark index hitting a record high, while futures for US stocks also pointed slightly higher. Analysts remained positive on emerging markets, citing strong profit growth driven largely by continued demand in the AI sector. Oil prices edged lower in early trading as hopes for easing tensions between the United States and Iran helped calm fears of major supply disruption. Reports suggest that Iran may allow ships to pass through the critical Strait of Hormuz if a deal is reached, a move that could stabilize global energy flows. Brent crude and US benchmark prices both declined as investors weighed the possibility of de-escalation against ongoing uncertainty in negotiations. Despite optimism from the White House, analysts remain cautious, noting that past talks have often failed to deliver lasting agreements. Gold prices edged lower after touching a one-month high as investors turned their focus to developments in the US-Iran situation and the outlook for interest rates. The precious metal saw mild profit-taking, with analysts noting that recent price movements have been driven more by shifting risk sentiment and monetary policy expectations than traditional safe haven demand. Markets are also weighing the possibility of prolonged higher interest rates in the United States, which could reduce gold's appeal as a non-yielding asset. Meanwhile, other metals showed mixed trends as investors continue to track geopolitical tensions and inflation risks closely. The US dollar hovered near 6-week lows on Thursday as growing optimism over a potential Iran peace deal reduced demand for safe haven assets. Investor sentiment improved after the White House signaled progress, with more talks expected soon. The euro and British pound both strengthened, while the dollar index remained under pressure after a steady decline over the past week. Analysts say markets are increasingly pricing in a resolution to the conflict, prompting a shift towards riskier currencies. Meanwhile, the Australian and New Zealand dollars held near recent highs, and the Japanese yen firmed slightly. China's economy grew 5% in first quarter of 2026, beating expectations of 4.8%, as strong exports offset weak domestic demand. Industrial output remained robust, while retail sales and investment lagged, highlighting an uneven recovery. However, the Iran war has raised energy and logistics costs, slowing exports and pressuring factory margins. With exports driving growth and consumption subdued, policymakers may shift focus towards boosting domestic demand. Rising oil prices and softer global trade threaten to weigh on growth momentum through the rest of the year. India could end the year with not one but two world champions in chess. Grandmaster Vaishali Ramesh Babu has won the 2026 Women's Candidates Tournament in Cyprus and has earned the right to fight for the world title. The 24-year-old, who is the sister of men's chess star Pragnananda, won the Women's Candidates Tournament by half a point. She did so by securing a critical win in the final round with a superb clinical performance with the white pieces against Katerina Lagno. That win gave her 8.5 points overall, and she was adjudged the outright winner after 14 rounds. Vaishali becomes the first Indian to win the Women's Candidates Tournament. In Mumbai, the cast of Bhoot Bangla hosted an exclusive special screening for members of the film fraternity. The film is directed by Priyadarshan, while Bhoot Bangla marks a historic reunion with superstar Akshay Kumar after a 14-year of gap. The duo have previously delivered original hits like Hera Feri, Bhool Bhulaiya and Garam Masala. Well, that is it in this edition. News and updates will continue on the other side. Keep watching WION World is One.